Welcome back. This week, a bill that took years of effort and compromise passed out of the House of Representatives. Representative Edmund Jordan brought a bill that would remove qualified immunity from police officers if they were found to have violated someone's constitutional right. The debate brought some emotional testimony.
We live in two different Americas. We live in two different Louisianas, and some of the issues that we face, I pray to God that you never have to face.
Representative Jordan called back to his speech in 2020 when he first brought his bill. His speech and others touched on the issue across the country of people of color not being able to seek lawsuits when they feel a police officer violated their rights due to qualified immunity. That immunity protects police from things such as using excessive force as long as it does not violate established law. But some see that there are loopholes in the established law, which is why some see the need for the bill. The case of George Floyd is often brought up in arguments about peeling back some police qualified immunity. Representative Ted James had his own examples that hit closer to home.
And then when we left here, we learned that the name of Trooper Jacob Brown and his victim, Larry Bowman. Then we learned Trooper Chris Hollingsworth and his victim, Ronald Green. So this is a Louisiana problem.
Aaron Bowman and Ronald Green were beaten with flashlights by troopers, and Green died from his injuries. A court would have to determine if an officer had violated someone's rights, and the burden of proof will be on the person filing against the officer. The bill was amended and worked on between sessions with a task force comprised of Representative Jordan and law enforcement agencies across the state. He has the support of the Sheriff's Association and Louisiana Chiefs of Police, among others that helped form the revised bill. Lawmakers received notes that the Fraternal Order of Police opposed the bill, even though they were on the task force and did not previously object to the bill. Representative Brian Fontenot, a former police officer, brought up how he had been sued many times in his tenure as an officer. He says people bring frivolous lawsuits against officers, and the foot soldiers of law enforcement do not support this bill. He proposed his own amendment that would make the plaintiff responsible for the court fees if they lose the case against the officer.
If you don't think it's fair that a law enforcement officer's got to go defend himself against false claims, then stand to protect him right now that says if you sue me falsely, you owe me and you owe the government that's representing your tax dollars the money back that they expunged to protect you.
The amendment was passed, even as some described the amendment as a poison pill and say it would dissuade people from wanting to file their lawsuits for their violated rights if there was a possibility of the added costs. Representative Barry Ivy proposed another amendment after Representative Fontenot to change the language to just frivolous lawsuits, which a court can determine if the case is viable. His amendment did not pass. Representative Ted James took the stand to share his view on the changes.
It's an issue of caring. This whole process has come down to one word, and that's frivolous. Because some of you think that the issue that we're trying to solve is frivolous. Some of you think that the issues of dead black and brown bodies at the hands of police officers is frivolous.
In his closing on the bill, Representative Jordan talked about how this bill has had the goalpost moved multiple times. With the addition of the amendment that waters down the bill, it is another moved goalpost. But he vowed to keep fighting for his bill to help people who feel they can't take on the police who violate the law.
And I take that responsibility, and I take that hit, and I take this job very, very seriously.
In the end, the bill passed with the exact number of votes it needs to advance out of the House. Members of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus celebrated with Representative Jordan with hugs and cheers after the vote. Some are concerned of the fate of the bill with the extra amendment, but it still passed and will head to the Senate for further debate. More this week in Louisiana politics after the break.